Yukon miners unearthed a silver statue. Within days, the entire site shut down. True encounters. Imagine working deep in the Yukon and pulling something out of the ground that was never meant to be found. Not treasure, not history. Just a silent silver figure, buried for reasons no one could explain. What would you do if the moment it surfaced, machines stopped working, and within days the entire mining site shut down? Welcome back to True Encounters. Today's account comes from Nicholas Reed, a junior engineer involved in a remote Yukon mining expansion. What he experienced there didn't just change the project, changed how an entire crew looked at the land beneath their feet. So without wasting any time, let's step into Nicholas's true experience. My name is Nicholas Reed. Back in 2017, I was assigned to assist a mining expansion project deep in the Yukon wilderness. The site was far from any major town, surrounded by endless forest, cold winds, and land that felt older than anything I had seen before. Geologists believed a rich copper deposit existed beneath a patch of land near an abandoned settlement. At first, I felt proud to be part of something important, but the moment I stepped onto that soil, a strange heaviness settled in the air. The ground carried signs of something older than a mining site. Stone fragments shaped like bricks, symbols carved into rocks, and a faint metallic shine resting on the leaves of nearby trees. One of the workers, Jonathan Mercer, told me, "Sir, locals don't come near this area. They believe something was placed here long ago." I dismissed it as superstition. We had schedules to follow, and the machines started working early the next morning. Around midday, the excavator blade struck something solid. The sound echoed across the pit. Sharp, unnatural, nothing like iron or stone. When the soil cleared, the entire crew fell silent. A silver statue stood there, nearly a foot tall, half buried in dirt. It didn't resemble any saint or cultural figure I recognized. Its face looked part human, part animal, and its hollow eyes gave the unsettling feeling that something watched from within. Strange markings covered its forehead, symbols none of us could read. One worker asked, "Should we report this to a museum?" I agreed to move it into the site office first. The moment the statue was lifted onto a trolley, the excavator began shaking violently and shut down. Looking back now, that was the exact moment everything shifted, even if none of us understood it yet. Mechanics inspected everything. No faults, no damage, yet the machine refused to restart. The driver looked pale and said, "This machine didn't stop because of a malfunction. Something else stopped it." That night, Jonathan returned to the office to look at the statue again. He told me later that its silver surface reflected light in a way that felt unnatural, almost as if it wasn't completely still. I warned him not to create fear among the crew, but the tension in his eyes stayed with me. The next morning, Jonathan didn't come to work. He was never the kind of man who scared easily. But that morning, his hands were trembling, and for the first time since arriving at the site, I felt a quiet fear settle inside me. When I reached his trailer, he was burning with fever, repeating that something had followed him after he touched the statue. We rushed him to the nearest hospital, but he passed away that same night. The report mentioned a sudden infection doctors couldn't clearly explain. Before anyone could process what happened, a fire broke out inside his trailer. Investigators found no electrical fault, no gas leak, only ash. And within that ash, a faint outline remained. The shape looked exactly like the statue. The following day, I ordered the statue transferred to the department office in Whitehorse. But when I arrived, the table was empty. Only gray dust remained, and a hand-shaped mark pressed into it. For the next 3 days, strange events continued across the site. Smoke appeared in open air with no source. Workers complained about burning eyes. And at night, a faint silver glow rose from beneath the soil. I kept telling myself there had to be a logical explanation. Faulty air systems, chemical reactions, anything that made sense to an engineer like me. Out of desperation, we contacted a local historian named Teresa Mitchell. She examined the ground quietly and said, "You've disturbed something that was meant to stay hidden." According to her, the statue wasn't an idol. It was a guardian placed there through old traditions. Something meant to protect the land itself. Anyone who touched it became part of its awakening. She warned us clearly. Some things need to stay where they belong. Otherwise, the land suffers. Within weeks, vegetation around the area began to wither. The mining company shut down the project, filled the excavation pit, and built a small memorial marker nearby. Even today, locals say that during heavy rainstorms, a faint silver shimmer rises from the ground where the statue once appeared. Even now, whenever I see silver catching the light, I remember the silence of that pit, and the feeling that something beneath it is still watching. This was Nicholas's account of what happened in the Yukon. Remember, not everything that shines beneath the earth is meant to be found. Some things stay buried for a reason, and disturbing them can leave more questions than answers. Before you go, share your thoughts in the comments. If you were in Nicholas's place, would you have taken the silver statue, or left it buried and walked away? If this experience stayed with you, consider sharing it, and subscribe to True Encounters so you don't miss the next true encounter waiting to be told. Maybe some places and some objects are meant to remain hidden. Until next time, stay aware of what lies beneath. This is True Encounter.